The new Anvil Paladin brings an exciting new platform for delivering firepower to the battle in Star Citizen. With a primary armament that would compete with many a fighter, and a turret that would get the green eyes of envy going for other dual-seaters, the Paladin brings a lot to the fight. So what better way to showcase some of that than to bring out the crew and head into battle? I'm Forrester, and this gameplay video shows a short session of blasting away at various targets using 2 people in the Anvil Paladin. To try to keep the video somewhat focused, some of the less intense parts have been sped up, and there's a mix of voiceover and pure battle set to music. So, if you're interested in what it's like to fly the Paladin, strap in, brace yourself, and prepare for battle. And we'll start, as these videos often do, by spawning in the ship to the hangar. With a little bit of clever editing magic, we'll then have the ship spawned in, and we'll start our slow walk to board. The slow walk wasn't really a necessary part of the battle, but given a ship of the majesty of the Paladin, it seemed perhaps appropriate to include. Hopping aboard the ship this time, and we'll head up to the pilot seat. I'm joined for this one by good friend of the channel Deli, who has appeared in many a video over the years and is an eagle eye in the turret gunner's seat, so we'll be very well suited to blasting away some targets in the Paladin. A little bit of a power up. Speed things up slightly, and then heading up for takeoff. And what a lovely setting sun at New Babbage. I never regret making Microtech my home in the verse. Often looks fantastic. And a nice view there of the Paladin doing its thing before we head up to take our first contract. So while the ship's heading up, head into the Moby-Glass and select our first combat contract. Very tempting to press the PvP missions, but I don't think I'm going to go down that route. I'll pick one of these bounty hunter contracts for I could probably just take a high risk target. And we're going to Riari Deltana, which is on Microtech, so should be easy enough to get to. But with this lighting, it certainly wouldn't hurt to enjoy a nice view of that Paladin. And watch as that turret spins from the bottom up to the top. One of the neat little party features of the Paladin. And it looks fantastic. And it looks like the lighting for this is going to be brilliant as well, because it looks like we're on the opposite side of the planet, where there's a bit of a... I think this might be a sunrise? It's hard to tell. No, I think it is a sunrise, because it's coming from about 090, which would suggest to me sunrise. Either way, it looks fantastic. So we can see we've got a selection of contacts to choose from here. Our target out to the top left, which is the Caterpillar, and then a selection of smaller fry, which actually I'm going to make a decision to target first. I think it's easier when they're grouped up to be able to just go after them one at a time, especially in a ship like this that is bristling with firepower. And Telly in the turret is already firing away. Got my eyes set on Cutlass there. Oh, there we go, we're starting to take some fire back. And now I'm within 1.5 kilometers. I'm feeling like I'm close enough to be able to start engaging with these main cannons. I say main cannons, these are only size 4, if only is the right word. The primary armament, I suppose, is probably the turret. We've got another target destroyed. Cutlass is already down. And there is something else down there. Looks like another Cutlass maybe. Fortunately, it's just a little bit too close to that armistice zone, so it's not taking the damage it should be. I guess this is the downside when you get a contract that takes you in near the armistice zones, is the hostiles kind of like flirt in and out of it, which makes it difficult to engage them effectively sometimes. Just watching for when those shields go down, and the moment they do, target vanishes. So now it's just that large caterpillar left, which has now floated into the armistice zone itself. Use this opportunity to put some more power onto the weapons, get that extra capacitor. Not that it's hugely needed, but it helps, and the Paladin isn't short of power to dish out. I'm just going to keep firing here until I can see that Caterpillar's out of the armistice zone. There we go, the shields are going down, it's out. And that main turret blasting away at it. Fantastic. And now it looks like it's back into the armistice zone again. You have to let me know in the video comments if you also have this challenge with ships flying into the armistice zone, what your preferred solution is to it. Do you flail around like I do, flirting with going in and out of the armistice zone, or do you have a better way? I'll be interested to know. So at this point, with the wonderful majesty of time-lapse, can speed up some of the tedium and then wait for the caterpillar to finally be destroyed once it stays out of the armistice zone long enough to take some damage. That said, it does give a nice opportunity for that sun to rise and get that lovely morning glow on Microtech. This is one of my favourite planets. It looks fantastic. So missiles locked, which would suggest it's out of the armistice zone. So they're going to loose that large missile and then just fly in as aggressively as we can to try and take it out before it gets back in. And there we go, finally target destroyed. And enjoy that nice orange gradient sky. The Paladin silhouetted against it. So, with that done, anything we take now will be plain sailing in comparison. So I'll grab the next target and we'll head out to blast away. Oh, this time an asteroid mining base. Yes, that's much more preferable. So in case you're one of the people who's hoping to see a ship review for the Anvil Paladin on this channel, there will be one eventually, but especially for a ship like this, I feel like there are lots of nuances to it that you only really get to grips with by actually flying the ship. So I usually take a little bit of time to fly it, get the experience with it. For some of the smaller ships that can be quite quick, but especially for ships like the Paladin, where you've potentially got a crew of up to 4, you've got lots of different scenarios to play out and figure out and see how it flies. So I like to take my time flying the ship and doing little sessions just like this, I suppose, taking it out, testing it, putting it through its paces in different scenarios. And once again, I'm going to approach the smaller group of targets before the, I guess, headline target. At least this time there's no challenges to overcome with armistice zones. So all of that to say, long story short, there will be a review of the Paladin It'll just take me a little bit of time to get some time behind the wheel before I'm ready to fly it.
Target destroyed.
Now we have first target destroyed. Well, I should say the first target that I've destroyed is the pilot. I'm sure Delhi in the gunner seat has destroyed plenty as well. Fortunately, this server is a little bit laggy, so sometimes these ships are jittering about a little. Target destroyed. Move on to the next one. And I think this kind of situation is where I'm finding the Paladin, at least when you've got a turret gunner, is very happy to be, which is in and amongst the melee, in the heat of battle, taking fire, dishing out fire. Even if these Vandal ships are absolutely indestructible. There we go. And then make our way across to this. I think this is a Valkyrie. I find it quite difficult now that the Asgard is in game to tell the difference between an Asgard and a Valkyrie from the hologram on the right, but I think this is just a little Valk. As the pilot, I like to hold my fire until I'm closing kind of below 1.5 kilometers. Try and get as much damage from those weapons as possible. The closer you get it feels like the more damage they do. Plus, of course, it's easier to hit the target the closer you are. But again, I think the capacitor on the Paladin is fairly generous. And there we have it, target destroyed. Bounty's been cleared. And remember to take call to arms for the next contract. So this time we're off to do one of the combat gauntlet missions, spawning a wave of hostiles to deal with for a pretty decent payout, albeit shared between two in this scenario, but we're instantly in and amongst the action.
Shields hit.
And it can be quite challenging as the pilot when you are in and amongst against some of these faster ships, because they can quite quickly outturn the forward firing weapons. But of course, having a turret gunner helps. The turret gunner is able to fire across a range of angles, and if you were really concerned about being outmaneuvered, you could I suppose fly next to an asteroid, as I have done here. Or of course the Paladin can take a crew of up to 4, which essentially turns these pilot armaments into much more nimble turrets, able to cover a wider field of view.
Shields hit.
I'm a little bit further away from the constellation than would be ideal, but also wanted to give plenty of time for the shields to charge. There we are. I think that's enough. Close on that constellation. See if we can get it knocked out. There it goes. And then just a matter of cleaning up whatever fighters remain. should probably point out at this point, if it hasn't become obvious, I do a little bit of space combat in-game, but these days space combat is not my primary gameplay loop, so I'm definitely not the best ace starfighter pilot. I get by, but we can make it work. I mean, ultimately we've survived, so I suppose it can't be all bad. But if you're watching my flying skills and thinking you could do a better job, you may well be right.
Target destroyed.
I wish more of my students flew like that.
And there we go. That's the Gillies combat mission complete. That wave destroyed, and a nice view of the Paladin with the moon in the background. So after stringing together a few more missions, getting hit by a missile and getting a little bit of a red hull as you can see in the top left, it was finally time to head back home. So we'll head back to the medium hangar, do a repair before calling it a night. I thought it was nice to include a little bit of the combat, albeit we had a slightly longer session than this, but also to show kind of the landing at the end, because it's an interesting landing. We'll say that, an interesting landing. Heading towards the hangar doors, and then suddenly there's a brick wall in front, which is a little bit scary. So gingerly approach in front before heading down to land.
Complete.
Sometimes you get those little bugs in Star Citizen that make you think, oh, can I fly through that? And in this case, we could do. And there's the repair, refuel, and rearm. So, if you enjoyed this video, you might press the like button to let me know I should make more of these gameplay videos, and if you're not yet subscribed, given that you've got this far, you probably want to do that too, so that YouTube will know to show you more videos like this in future, or perhaps even that upcoming review of the Paladin once I've had enough time behind the wheel. But otherwise, and as always, thank you for watching.